Alas, Julia, I've come to take a long farewell.
Heavens, what do you mean?
You see before you a wretch whose life is forfeited. Nay, start not. The infirmity of my temper has drawn all this misery on me. I left you fretful and passionate. An untoward accident drew me into a quarrel. The event is that I must fly the kingdom instantly. Julia, I have been so fortunate as to have called you mine entirely before this mischance had fallen on me. I should not so deeply dread my banishment.
My soul is oppressed with sorrow at the nature of your misfortune. Had these adverse circumstances arisen from a less fatal cause, I should have felt strong comfort in the thought that I could now chase from your bosom every doubt of the warm sincerity of my love. My heart has long known no other guardian. I now entrust my person to your honor. We will fly together. When safe from pursuit, my father's will may be fulfilled, and I receive legal claim to be the partner of your sorrows and tenderest comforter. Then on the bosom of your wedded Julia, you may lull your keen regret to slumbering, while virtuous love with a cherub's hand shall smooth the brow of upbraiding thought and pluck the thorn from compunction.
Julia, I am bankrupt in gratitude. But the time is so pressing, it calls on you for so hasty a response. Would you not wish some hours to weigh the advantages you forego? And what little compensation can poor Faulkland make you beside his solitary love?
I asked not a moment. No, Faulkland, I have left you for yourself. And if I now more than ever prize the solemn engagement that has so long pledged us to each other, it is because it leaves no room for hard aspersions on my fame, and puts the seal of duty to an act of love. But let us not linger. Perhaps this delay may...
Twill be better I should not venture out again till dark. Yet, I am grieved to think what numberless distresses may press heavy on your gentle disposition.
Perhaps your fortune may be forfeited by this unhappy act. I know not whether 'tis so, but sure that alone can never make us unhappy. The little I have will be sufficient to support us, and exile never should be splendid.
Aye. Yet, in such an abject state of life, my wounded pride may perhaps increase the natural fretfulness of my temper till I become a rude, morose companion far beyond your patience to endure. Perhaps the recollection of a deed my conscience cannot justify may send me into such gloomy and unsocial fits that I shall hate the tenderness that would relieve me, break from your arms, and quarrel with your fondness.
If your thoughts should assume so unhappy event, you will the more want some mild and affectionate spirit to watch over and console you. One who, by bearing your infirmities with gentleness and resignation, may teach you so to bear the evils of your fortune.
Julia, I have proved you to the quick, and with this useless device I throw away all my doubts. How shall I plead to be forgiven this last unworthy effect of my restless, unsatisfied disposition?
Has no such disaster happened as you related?
I am ashamed to own that it was all pretended. Yet, in pity, Julia, do not kill me for hating a fault that cannot be repeated. Yet, let me tomorrow, in the face of heaven, receive my future guide and monitress, and expiate my past folly with years of tender adoration.
Hold, Faulkland. That you are free of a crime which before I feared to name, heaven knows how sincerely I rejoice. These are tears of thankfulness for that. But that your cruel doubts should have urged you to an imposition that has wrung my heart gives me now a pang more keen than I can express.
I haven't, Julia.
My father loved you, Faulkland, and you preserved the life that tender parent gave me. In his presence I pledged my hand, joyfully pledged it, where before I had given my heart. When, soon after, I lost that parent, it seemed to me that Providence had, in Faulkland, shown me whither to transfer without a pause my grateful duty as well as my affliction. Hence I have been content to bear from you, but pride and delicacy would have forbid me from another. I will not upbraid you by repeating how you have trifled with my sincerity.
I confess it all, yet here.
After such a year of trial, I might have flattered myself that I should not have been insulted with the new probation of my sincerity, as cruel as unnecessary. I now see it is not in your nature to be content or confident in love. With this conviction, I never will be yours. Well, I had hopes that by persevering attention and unreproaching kindness might in time reform your temper, I should have been happy to have gained a dearer influence over you, but I will not furnish you with a licensed power to keep alive an incorrigible fault at the expense of one who never would contend with you.
Nay, but Julia, by my soul and honor,
But
after
there
this...
is more. As my faith has once been given to you, I never will barter it with another. I shall pray for your happiness with the truest sincerity, and the dearest blessing I can ask of heaven to send you will be to charm you from this unhappy temper which alone has prevented the performance of our solemn engagement. All I request of you is that you will yourself reflect upon this infirmity, and when you number up the many true delights it has deprived you of, let it not be with least regret that it lost you the love of one who would have followed you in beggary through the world.
She's gone. Forever. There was a resolution in her manner that riveted me to my place. Oh, fool! Dolt barbarian! Kind fortune sent me a heaven-gifted cherub, and like a ruffian, I have driven her from my side.